Which tools
So,
do you work on?
yeah, Webby and Universe. These are the most, like usually they are the most I use.
Okay, great. All right, Ruby and Universe. All right, and so you guys are on which version of Bob J are you guys on?
Right now we are still using 3.1, Junaid. Our
Oh, okay.
Volvo, they are very slow.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
because the other parts of Volvo, like Japan, they are the first ones who implement all the new technology.
Right, right,
So
okay.
there are like there are 6 different systems right now. So I mean 6 different areas of in the world, like using 6 different systems. And ours in North America is the last region that implements everything last. So we got business
Oh,
objects like two years ago when Japan got it like 7-8 years ago.
oh wow, interesting. Any reason behind that?
Nothing. Just it's just that people here in our plant they are very reluctant to change. They don't want to change.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's pretty much predominant everywhere.
That's the only reason I would say.
All right, great. And you also said that SAP is pursuing Volvo for HANA, right?
Hello.
Yes, Sandeep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You were saying something?
Yeah, yeah. What I was saying is that you also said that SAP is pursuing Volvo for HANA.
Not for HANA, but they like usually the speakers come to our plant and they do sessions in regard to business objects.
Okay.
So during the sessions, some of the speakers they talk about HANA and this new technology coming up. That's how I came to know about HANA.
Okay, great, great, awesome, very good. Right. All right, great. That's I get an idea about your background. Thanks, Sandeep. Appreciate that. Vishalia, if you don't mind, can you tell me a little bit about your background? Can you tell us?
So I'm currently working as a Java JTE developer. I've been working in Java JTE for more than 6 years. And I'm located in Boston, working as a software. And this company has and which has in the backend.
Okay. Actually, you know what, Vishalia, it's kind of breaking up, and I think we're having some audio issues. I kind of didn't understand the last 30 seconds.
Oh, is it better now?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with your voice. It's just that transmission is kind of wavering.
Oh. I'm hearing twice. What's I'm hearing it twice.
Okay. Okay, maybe on my side. It's on my side. Okay, we'll try it one more time. Sorry, Vishalia. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, better now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm currently working as a project developer, and I've been programming about 6 years. I'm in Boston working for a company called CompuWare. And this company has total implementation, and the front end is totally Java, and it has business objects in the back end.
Okay.
So, I mean, I e-commerce designer and info view, all those content. So it's actually my SAP training. I mean, I have done some 3 weeks training in business before, but the 3.1. So I found friends who work in business office. They told me about that. So yeah.
Okay. Right, great. Right, great. So that's good. So both of you are aware.
Yeah, I have a question. So, how about my background and experience? How does it fit in with HANA training and This means, does that help? I have mostly programming skills. I have only 2 months of experience and knowledge of business objects. Would that help, or would it be?
Yep. I'll answer your question. I'm gonna actually get my headphones. I'm still having some difficulty, but
Okay.
I'll answer your question. Give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. I hope you guys can hear me.
I can hear.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I think this is better. The headphones are doing a better job than just the speakers. Okay, great. So if you have any business object experience, it's good. In fact, it's great because currently SAP HANA, the certified tools to be consumed in terms of BI layers are only the SAP toolset and MS Excel. So if you are aware of business objects and how to create universes and just the whole landscape of different tools and how they interact and what are the basics, that's very useful because you'll be working on it in terms of HANA. Because HANA is you can call it an agile data mart, or it has different use cases, but let's take that for example now. So even in that scenario, you can only build models and you can do some analysis on HANA itself, but it limits the number of rows you can do analysis on. It's not a tool for analysis. It's a tool for building models, and it's a tool for building information models and authorizations and various other things. But the consumption should be on a BI layer, which is away from HANA. So there are many tools. There's one tool called Visual Intelligence, which is specifically for HANA. But it also talks to the rest of the tool set. For example, Business Explorer, Crystal Reports, the whole enterprise suite of Bucket. I hope that helps your question. Do you have any experience with data warehousing, Vasalia?
No. I took a couple of weeks training in Vivo, and I have some idea and those concepts. That's all. I mean, is it required to have some experience in Vivo BI modules, tools?
See, there are two areas in my opinion going forward. One is one personal. I mean, it'll be like this: SAP HANA consultant. One guy will be focusing on getting the data from the different data warehouses or data sources and building models on HANA. So there'll be one specialty where you're playing with bringing data from different sources. So there, your data warehousing skills will come into picture. And there'll be another skill set where you'll be modeling in HANA. Now you'll be working with the BI layer as well. So there your BI skills will come into picture. So you just have to kind of identify where you want to fit yourself. It's not mandatory, you can always learn these different things. Of course, you're working, in a J2 environment. Obviously, you will be seeing data on a daily basis, and I'm sure you're aware of all the concepts. And as far as BO is concerned, you have some knowledge. So your first priority should be knowing HANA. Once you understand HANA clearly, and then you can kind of identify your own skill sets, or you can reconfigure it. You can make a decision, which side should I go? Currently, they are hiring people with all the skill sets. They want everything in you. Like they want you to know data warehousing. They want you to know modeling. They want you to know BI. They want you to know administration. They want you to know security. So because most of the roles are most of the roles are architect perspective, and they're kind of depending on you for the whole implementation. But that is the current scenario. But once you guys are trained, and hopefully if you want to get certified, you get certified. So let's say, in a practical scenario, 2-3 months. And so till then, the market will be a little more mature. So that time they will be more focused on setting up a team where there are different skills. Not one is not going to do everything. Also for security issues. So because if you're doing from end to end, for example, if you're a company complying to SOX regulations, it does not allow you. No person can do end to end in terms of roles. You cannot do that. So even that is another reason why they separate roles in an organization. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question, Sanjay?
Yeah. That answers some extent. Thank you. And what are these how about job placements after the course? Will I able to get a placement easily after I learn HANA? I mean, without any BA experience. I don't know, what do they ask usually in interview? Do they ask for experience in BOBI areas?
Yeah.
Or do they consider people with programming experience too? I don't know.
See, it's how you market yourself. So if you're marketing yourself, for example, let's say you're putting, your own, without any fudging in your resume, you're just putting HANA. Some people might be interested because, for example, you're working with Hadoop and some other, high big data databases which don't only talk on SQL.
Right.
So,
right.
So there is Cassandra and there is one more guy. There is MongoDB. So anyways, long story short, what I'm going to say is, being Java oriented is always useful. So they might try to, fill up that kind of a role with your background, where they're looking for more integration, out of the box integration, writing JavaScripts and codes to talk to different various, connectors or DBs or sources, various different sources. So that's where I see you. But of course, it's good to show some BI or BODS experience, because right now, unless you're applying for a full-time job where you can go as a mid-level or junior level, currently they want to see some BI or BODS. So either you have to be on BI side or BODS side.
Okay. Okay.
But that will change. That will change. This is my current honest opinion. I may be wrong, of course.
Yeah.
This is what
That's
I feel.
Thank
All
you.
right, great. You're welcome.
Junaid,
Yes.
Sandeep.
Yes.
Junaid, what are the future prospects of HANA? What skill set does HANA look up? And, when right now, if we have BW, BI, business objects, this experience is good for a year or two. But what is the situation after that?
Well, good question. Really situation after that nobody can tell, because it's a growing product, and day by day every release is coming up with some. For example, data archiving. SAP HANA does not currently support data archiving, complex data archiving. Of course, there is simple data archiving. So there are a lot of functionalities which are coming up, which even we do not know. Even SAP salesmen do not know, because it's happening so fast in an agile fashion. Every iteration they are bouncing out some new functionalities. But to answer your question from my perspective, as long as BW is going to go away, right? In the next 5 years, yeah. BW is going to go. So you're safe. If you know BW, you're safe. If you know BI, it's great, because BI is the future. No matter what different functionality they bring, they have to talk to BI. Now, of course, the growth will be if you know multiple BI tools. For example, Tableau. Currently, we are having a challenge to talk to Tableau. However, we can use some ODBC connector. It's not supporting due to various different reasons. So they're going to keep on certifying. So number of hardware partners are going to increase. The number of softwares in terms of data sources, in terms of BI tools which can talk to HANA are going to increase. There are going to be applications made on HANA. So Vatsalya, there, I would like to point out, this is your area, because going forward, they want to use HANA and they want to build applications on top of HANA. So HANA talks pure SQL. So any application based, now most comfortable is Java based. So when some company is looking for a person to develop applications on top of HANA, your skill set will be a great fit because you are a JTV expert and Java expert, and you know HANA. So there you go. When people are looking to build applications, you're going to look for you.
Right. Does it provide any API integration with Java? I mean, HANA has any API? Okay.
Yes, it has API.
It has Java API. Okay.
Yeah, it has Java API.
And a last question before we get started, like,
yes, please.
Are there any certifications or exams do you recommend me to take, for, just to prepare well for this HANA training and placements? Can you recommend some?
Definitely. I mean, I'm certified, HANA certified, and there are 2 certifications provided by SAP. One is the application consultant, and one is the installation and configuration consultant, or something like that. So these are 2 areas. So in our perspective, we are going to be all application consultant because only the hardware partners.
This is in HANA?
This is for HANA, specifically for HANA.
Okay.
Both of these certifications are for HANA, right?
Both of them for HANA. One is going to focus on installation and configuration, which currently is taken care by all the hardware partners. So we will see them, who they are and what is their role in the slide. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but what I was asking is like any certification trying to take, like, prior to HANA, that helps me to get prepared well for HANA, like any certificates in data warehousing field.
No, we don't need. Well, I can prepare an exam for you guys. Okay. Because I myself I doing certification, I have tons of data. So I am myself planning to prepare like a lot of questions based on SAP, style of questions. So I'm preparing at least, I'll try to give you at least 1 to 2 sets of questions which you can, answer, and I'll point you guys to all the material you need to read. In our time there was no guidance, so we read probably every single document under the sun which had a name called SAP HANA. So it's not needed because data is repeated in multiple guides multiple times, and there are only certain areas which they are really worried about right now. Of course, certification is going to evolve. The number of questions, the type of questions, the depth of questions is going to evolve. But currently, I'm saying that whatever is happening currently.
Okay, right. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, great. Sandeep, does it answer your question as well about certification?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I thought of actually half hour of demo, but I think you're gonna go a little more than that. So we'll see the pertinent information. So there are some business facts on this slide. It's important to know why HANA and what are the different fundamental changes. So we're trying to solve the big data problem. When I say big data, so currently there's these consulting firms, IDC for example, they are estimating there's going to be 1 trillion gigabytes of data in 2011, and the best thing about it is doubling every 18 months. So roughly at the end of this year, we're going to have 2 trillion gigabytes of data all over the world. Sloan says 60% of the C-level executives really don't know where the data is and how to effectively use the data. And with data doubling every 18 months, we are kind of growing the hierarchy of data. So let me go to that hierarchy. So this is what is growing. We are all comfortable with terabyte, especially me. Going to petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte. So this is the zettabyte one. So what is important about data? Of course, business is continuously becoming more competitive, and people want information on the go. They can't wait for 3 seconds on the mobile, if you see. So decisions are made on information. So availability of information is very critical, and in some cases, success or failure of a business can be based on availability of information. So that is a problem we're trying to solve. We're trying to solve the big data issue and how to get analytics out of this big data and how to make those analytics profitable for the business. So these are some examples. So for example, today we have so many devices. We are communicating to multiple interfaces and multiple enterprise platforms. So be it iPad or iPhone. So now all the sales executives, all the C-level management guys, so they're all carrying an iPad. I mean, most of them, or some of them, in whichever scenario it is. So they want data on these platforms, and they want the data on the go. So if somebody using an iPhone, it's the same situation. They want data on the go. So pretty much they want them right now and anywhere and across any platform. Okay, a little bit about reporting. So there are 5 dimensions of reporting. There could be more, but in this slide we're going to cover these 5 dimensions. So till last year or before this proposal of this technology, we were focusing on, let me just narrate the 5 dimensions. First is deep. So if you want to ask complex questions, data intensive questions, that becomes a deep analysis. Broad is when you're talking to multiple data types across multiple data sources. Real time is getting data on in real time. Simple is where you want to answer daily questions which are repetitive in nature, not much data intensive. And high speed. So real time and high speed are different things. They have to go hand in hand. It doesn't suit the bill if it's just real time or if it's just high speed. They kind of have to go hand in hand to make sense. So high speed is, of course, you need response time less than a second. That is human response time. So earlier, before this paradigm shift, companies were either focusing on deep and broad data, or they were focusing on high speed and simple data. So because any other deviation was very expensive and very intensive, and they had to have multiple middle layers to accomplish that. So we're trying to solve this problem as well. So with the Sap Hana, you will be able to answer and take care of all these different reporting aspects at one go. Now that is a business perspective, what we're trying to solve. Now let's see what fundamentally is different in HANA. And
Junaid, I have a question.
Yes.
Will HANA use its own reporting tool, or will it be using business objects reporting tools?
HANA does not have its own. HANA does not have its own native reporting tool. It has an analysis built in into HANA, but that is not for reporting. That is only for analysis for the modelers to see what they are doing and how the data is looking like. But you have to use a reporting tool to talk to HANA.
Okay.
There is a tool called Information Modeler, which is very new, brand new, which allows you to combine different data sources and come up with some ad hoc reports. But it is not mature yet. Nobody is using, as of I know. I mean, up to my knowledge, nobody is using it. That could be. HANA? Yeah, that's in HANA. That's not in HANA. That is on top of HANA. It's another tool, which is going to talk about. Okay. So let's go. Yeah. So the different functional differences. I mean, fundamental differences. The first off is most important, which everybody is aware of, is in-memory storage. So traditionally, we used to store data on disk, which had some physical limitations, and it has some bottlenecks around transfer of data from your hard disk to your CPU. So there are different layers of data. So data is transferred from your hard disk. It comes to different registers. It comes to CPU registers, and then it comes to CPU cache. Then it kind of processes within itself. So that was a big bottleneck. And why it was not accomplished before? Was it possible? Yes, it was possible before. They did not do it because of the cost factor. 10 years back, this technology existed, but they could not make it sensible for business in terms of cost. The TCO was very high. Currently, we have a lot of changes in hardware equipment. Today, we can see one board with 2 terabyte of main memory, which was not possible before. So giving the hardware advances, we are able to accomplish it. So the fundamental idea is to store all the data, the relevant data, in memory. Of course, the next question should be what's going to happen if there's a power failure. There is a persistence layer which is SSD based and flash based depending on your choice, and you can of course create multiple different copies of the data, so your data is going to be safe. So it's going to comply to ACID functionalities of data warehousing concepts, and the data is safe, but the changes is going to be in memory. It's going to be on your RAM.
Junaid, you said
Yes.
that we can make multiple copies of data. Does that
Yeah.
not result in like duplicate data? Like if it is duplicate data, then it's using up more space, right? Is it not like that?
Correct. My concept about that duplication is for disaster recovery. So, for example, let's say you're storing persistence layer in one of the data centers, and if the data centers fails or crashes for some reason, like natural disasters, force majeure, whatever could be the reason. So you're going to lose that data, right? So you're going to make multiple data centers, or whatever your strategy, disaster recovery strategy is. This is only for making sure that you are able to be up and running. So this is a part of the high availability, where at any point in time a company should not shut down, no matter what happens. So they ideally have multiple data centers, one in the East Coast, one on the West Coast, one in some other country. So at any point in time they are up and running.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Don't feel free to ask any rebuttal questions. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. Alright. So next is the multi-core architecture, which is common even in my laptop. I have a dual core, so 2 cores in one board. Earlier it was not possible. Currently, server boards are coming with 8 to 10 cores in one board. So this allows us to increase the processing speed by taking advantage of partitioning and massive parallel processing. So we'll see those two concepts. Those are kind of software and hardware concepts, but it is practically, first of all, possible by the multi-core architecture. So it was not possible before, now it's possible. So just to give you some stats, one core can process 2 megabytes per second. That is some information for you. So then you can calculate this. For example, if you have how many of a GB of data, how long it's going to take. I think it's it's correct. 2 gigabytes per second.
Yeah,
gigabytes per second.
Per millisecond.
Yes, it's correct. 2 megabytes per millisecond and 2 gigabytes per second. All right, great. And the next is columnar storage, important concept. So traditionally we store data in row-based storage, which is great for OLTP operations. So anything to do with insertions is great. Row-based is great, but for analysis, for OLAP-based systems, we need a column-based storage. So this particular concept helps you to quickly analyze data on the fly with phenomenal performances. There are some issues, not issues, there are some parameters, hardware parameters. There are some aspects of it which we'll see later, but otherwise it's great for OLAP purposes, analysis purposes. Most of our Sap Hana use cases, especially the agile data mart, is around analysis. Crunching massive amount of data. So the next is partitioning, which is a part of the multi-core architecture. So we can create multiple nodes, and we can, for example, if I have like, I have a slide. So maybe I'm over talking on this slide. I have some information for you going ahead. So let's just hold on partition and massive parallel processing. It's going to make sense, and I'll show you some pictures. Let's talk about compression. So compression is common to all many databases. So currently Sap Hana has compression ratio anywhere between 2x to 20x, depending on the unique records you have in your database. So there are different algorithms used for compression. Simple algorithms like dictionary based compression, and text, storing text as integers kind of compression. There are the 3-4 algorithms which you can use. So in other words, when you're bringing data from other sources, for example, let's say you have a data source which has 100 GB of data. Now when you bring that 100 GB of data into HANA, it's going to become 10 GB, provided the compression ratio is 10x. Let's take for example. Now why is this important? Of course, performance-wise, great, it's very important. It's also important in terms of cost perspective, because HANA is going to be licensed based on the amount of memory you use. So it's important in that perspective as well. So it helps you reduce your TCO. Some scenarios here. So current scenario is increasing data volumes, the calculation speeds need to be very high, which are not there yet, and the number of data sources are rapidly increasing. So all of these lead to one unique thing, which is information latency, and that leads to multiple different sub effects like suboptimal execution speed. So basically, you're running a query and sitting for minutes or hours, depending on the amount of data you're crunching. Lack of business transparency. So business is not able to see what is currently happening in live, in real time. They're always, in the best scenario, they are 8 hours away. The best case, it takes about 8 hours from OLTP to OLAP. So in this scenario, they are about 8 hours away from each other. So business does not really know what's currently happening. So that becomes a problem, that becomes a challenge for especially business in terms of, like, for example, shipping industry, transportation industry, where everything is moving, it's in a constant change. And they need to know where the ship is, what it's doing, and stuff like that. And they should be able to, map the data with the data they already have and try to run queries in real time and prevent from disasters, improve operational efficiency, increase profits, and various different aspects. The third is reactive business model. So this is important also because, for example, let's say your customer is asking, you're a sales, let's say you're a sales head, and you're at a customer site, right? And you know the customer, you don't have any much idea about the customer's track record in terms of payment, in terms of how big let's assume you don't know. Obviously, any salesperson should know this data, but let's assume for now you don't know. So, or you don't know enough to make a decision, or you don't know enough to tell him what is the next steps. So let's say the customer is asking, okay, fine, so what kind of discount can you give me? Or he says, or he or she says, okay, fine. So how does it, make advantage to me because I'm working with these different technologies? Are you compatible with these different technologies? So if a salesman has on-the-go information, first of all, and the next is if the salesman can quickly identify a resource which is very close to them on the fly, a technical resource, an available resource who can answer the questions right there immediately. So that's going to be a fundamental change, because always salespeople say, we'll get back to you, we'll get back to you. So that is something they want to change. They want to be able to ask recursive questions to the database, to the whatever analysis model you're building. For example, let's say they want to ask, okay, what are the sales in Asia Pacific? Next question, what are the sales in India? Next question, what are the sales for TVs? So this was not possible before because it takes time to query and crunch those numbers. Now they're making it possible. So this is what we're trying to solve. I gave you some examples. So we have some interesting information here. Terabytes of in-memory data, 100 GB throughput data transfer per second. Of course, that you're using multiple cores there. Let's say you're using a quad core or more. Freedom from data sources, because you can use tools like VODS, which is very flexible to talk to multiple data sources. So you don't really have to worry about bringing data into HANA as long as you're using VODS. So this combines and gives you the power to take advantage of real-time analytics, improve your business performance, and take advantage of being reactive rather than being not even reactive. Yeah, this is being reactive business model. Right, great. So this is the same information put in different fashion here. So one slide tells you everything here. Some numbers for you to get a picture in your mind, what kind of speed improvement we're looking at. So RAM is 100,000 times faster, excuse me, than your spinning disk, which is the conventional way of storing data. And flash is still 1,000 times slower than main memory. So that's the kind of speed increase we're looking at. And what we're trying to get over is going through these different controllers, because of the hard disk has to talk to CPU, going through all these different controllers, buses and controllers, and finally it goes to CPU. So we're trying to cut short of all these controllers, of course, and also inherently RAM is much more faster than hard disk. So this particular slide is talking about two things rather. One is minimizing data movement. The second one is compression. So this is what is minimizing data movement is you want to, of course, this is a concept which has been here for a while. You want to reduce the amount of logic, or you want to reduce the amount of data running between application layer and the database layer. So let's go here. This one talks about that. So originally what happens is you have a bunch of logic and an application layer, and you have a database. So whatever happens, whatever you execute here, so you need data. So it's going to be back and forth, which brings a lot of latency and performance issues and various other things. So we want to reduce it. So Sap Hana has a capability to crunch business logic within itself, within the database itself. So the challenge now is to push as much logic as possible within the database as much as you can, and try to keep as much less logic in the application layer. Of course, there are various SOA principles which also you can apply. So that's another concept we are trying to utilize to minimize data movement between the application layer and the database layer. So here is a small example of compression. Here is using storing text as integers. So if you see here, for example, customer name and materials. These are the two columns we're trying to compress. So let's call this table A, table B, C, and D. So in table A, we see all the names: radio, laptop, stove, and da. And in the table B, we see that these customer names, TBS, Miller, are given unique numbers. So Xavier is no more Xavier, he is going to be referred as 1, and Miller is no more Miller, he is going to be referred as 4. Similarly, we do the same with the material. So what do we achieve is we don't have to store the length, the whole string, we are only storing numbers, and this is stored in a dictionary. So when it is retrieved, it reads from the dictionary and it reconstructs itself on the fly, and it presents itself to the BI layer. So imagine this being applied on millions of records. So this is one technique for data compression.
So Junaid, in the previous slide, can you go back to the previous slide? In this previous slide, whenever Hana is reading this table, so say suppose when it reads material 2, then it jumps this table, the material table, and it reads radio. That's how it is done.
I can't hear you. Say that again, please.
Okay, whenever Hana is reading this table, okay, say suppose it is reading row number 1, okay. So when it is giving the output, so when it says material 2, so it picks material 2 from the material table?
Yes, it's going to read. See, internal processing is still going to have in the compressed fashion. When the when the result is presented to you, it's going to go to the dictionary and pull out all the conversions, and then it's going to return the result to you.
Okay, so all the calculations and everything, it is done in the
compressed
numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
See, unless you are having some filter, I mean, of course, this is not going to be for everybody. For example, let's say you're filtering based on material, right? So let's say you only want radio. So material doesn't know which is radio because all are numbers here. So it's going to refer to the dictionary, see which is radio. So different operations will go through different algorithms, and you can see that in the SQL plan. It's called execution plan, which is another functionality of SAP HANA, where you can see how your query jumped. They don't go to the detail of telling you where the compress table is and what's happening. That's something internal to the SAP logic. But they tell you where the query is jumping, between which engines. There are different engines within HANA. For example, join engine, then there is a calculation engine, then there is OLAP engine. So these different engines do different things, and they tell you where your query is jumping. So based on that, you can try to manipulate to reduce the time taken.
Okay.
So this like, yeah, that's more like normalization, right? Like this tables, it's more like normalizing the tables.
Yeah, you're normalizing it. Also, you're compressing it.
Do we have to do that, or does HANA do that internally?
Internally, they do it internally.
Okay.
Okay, great. So the next is column storage. So we saw compression, now we're seeing column storage. So this is an example. So basically, so row-based means you store, for example, in a database. Actually, if you see the page log, it's going to be stored as 1845231. Then right next to it, it's going to be stored 82851. So it's going to be stored in a sequence, one after the other, if it is a row-based or whatever based in the database, that's all stored. So when you're looking for the row ID 7, it has to process all these things and then finally find row ID 7. But if you're storing as a column based where row ID is number 1, so every table should have a unique ID. So based on that, let's say this is the first one, and then the date and time, and then the material. So of course, I'm giving you a very simple example. There are complex algorithms for this. So you can find 7 in the first go. You don't have to go all this way till here. So if you notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7th iteration you're finding 7, but here in the first iteration itself, you're able to find 7. Very small example. So that is one of the advantages of column based. It's very good for analysis, searching stuff in the database. Everything else remains the same. Row is stored as row and column is stored as column, and retrieval is also the same. Row is retrieved as row and column is retrieved as column. So these are the aspects which I was referring to before, row based and column based. So if you see some benefits of row, record data is stored together, easy to insert and update. This is very important. That's why we still want to go with row based for OLTP situations. And column based is very good for projections and searching and retrieving data, but it is not good for insert and update. There are some issues around it. So there is some research going on operational efficiency based on row and column, even for OLAP situations. I think going forward they're going to improve that as well. Let's see what happens. But currently this is what it is. So we saw the slide going here. So this is the data partitioning and parallelization. So if you see, you can partition tables. It's a program, not program. You can use SQL queries inside the SQL editor in SAP HANA to partition table, and you can allot a particular server for it, and you can allot a particular node or instance, whatever you want to call it. And so you are able to partition table. For example, table 1, table 2 of year A will belong to this particular A will belong to this core, and this particular table 2 will belong to this core. So you can keep the data in different cores, and there are some architectures like sum and num. Don't have much information about it. Maybe I can get it later. Which have those algorithms for data, maintaining data within these cores. There are some issues again, aspects again within it, in terms of nearness of data to a particular core. For example, let's say this particular core, if it owns a particular table, then the data is going to reside in this core. but if it does not own the table, it's going to be wherever it is. So for example, let's say you are coming to this core and the table is here, the data, so it has to travel, to some, network things to come here, internal registers. So there are some aspects around it, but either way you're able to achieve partitioning and parallelization. Basically, you can process queries parallelly. That's what is this whole thing I'm trying to say is you can query, you can process a query parallel. For example, let's say you have one table with 10 million records, so you can assign some to each core and they can parallelly process it. So that's going to improve obviously your performance. Some points, business points, and some data points of improvements for HANA. So there was a test with 100 terabyte of data, 100 billion records. HANA was able to achieve 20x compression ratio, and the query responses were under 1 second. So pretty impressive. Of course, this is not a real scenario. This is being tested in the lab. Also, it says that HANA is 1,000 times faster than Oracle. Oracle has its own product. So HANA has some competitors. One of the competitors is Oracle, and there is NetApp, not NetApp. There are some other Netiza, which is IBM product. There are some 5-6 competitors. System to run very important queries along with your existing platform. So you can use this as just for reporting, for C-level, for whichever level you would like to. So basically it collects all the data and you're able to run queries at phenomenal time responses. And you can of course integrate with any BI tool. So next is SAP Business Suite Accelerator. So this is basically BW running under HANA, on top of HANA. So where you're accelerating the BW performance. The existing BW is going to run on some database, so that you're replacing with HANA. So, or you can run also parallelly, like for example, let's say some of the data you have in the existing database, some of the data you have in HANA. So the one part which belongs to HANA is going to be accelerated. So that is another use case. Currently this is going on in multiple client sites, BW, HANA running under BW. So this is a future goal. So it has the most common APIs, as you asked me, and you can literally write any type of application on top of it. So it speaks pure SQL. So you can use any API you wish and talk to HANA on SQL. And so going forward, this is going to be like a business edge for companies. So like, see, of course, you have like a really powerful engine. So how you want to use it, that's up to you. So by creating your own custom applications, for example, let's say stock trading, high frequency stock trading. So in those scenarios, not only those, just one example, these applications are going to be like game changing.
Right.
Again, some proof points. Just trying to give you some idea of what are different industries we are not SAP is likely currently in what is improvement and the performance. I'm going to touch base on a couple of points, not going to do all of them. And then we want to see some of the architecture and some of these things. We're already shooting the 1 hour mark. All right, great. So Deutsche Bank wanted to analyze data, which used to take them 45 minutes, now takes them 5 seconds. Colgate Dunning is reminding customers to pay their dues. It used to take them 77 minutes, now it takes them 13 seconds. CAT, they don't know, they were able to take advantage of data which they didn't even think it existed. That's pretty amazing. Some proof points: 70 retailers, 460 billion records, 50 terabytes of data, 0.04 seconds. So we saw some general lab tests, some proof points. This is for finance folks. The compression shows that the compression ratio and the response time. So 2,660 seconds, now only takes them 5.1 seconds. Points to note, there are no changes to the database. I'm going to touch base on these tomorrow or in the next class. This is some interesting information and I need at least 2 minutes on each of them. So let's go here for today. So SAP HANA was not built, it was built ground up, but it has a lot of components which previously existed. So for example, MaxDB, then it became Live Catch. Both of these are used in SAP HANA. Restart Time was another tool, OLTP lightweight in memory database, which is used in HANA. And if you see on here, BWA, Business Warehouse Accelerator, is also used in HANA. A part of it, same technology used in HANA. So this is some timeline. We can spend more time on this in the next class. I just want to highlight some key points. June 2011 was the first general availability. So it's just been 1 year and some months. So it's pretty brand new product right at this time. So these are the hardware partners of SAP HANA. It's a hardware come software. So you need to buy it from one of these guys. If you call SAP, SAP is going to ask you to call one of these guys. So each of these hardware partners have a specific USP based on your company or data size and multiple other things. Each of these are focusing on a specific area. So you may want to do some due diligence on these things, these hardware partners. I'm thinking there'll be more in the coming future. So finally, this is the architecture. Let me see if there is a better picture for this, which we can solve multiple questions at the same time. I think we should stick to. Okay, this is it. So why I'm not going to discuss this slide is because this particular slide has components which do not belong to HANA in the same box. For example, data services and application services, these do not natively belong to HANA. So let's go to this slide. So this is all stuff which belongs to HANA. So only this box, in-memory computing engine, IMC. So whatever you see with IMCE is HANA. IMC stands for in-memory computing engine or in-memory database. IMDB, both are the same. And these two components do not belong to HANA. Here they are assuming that we are using Sybase application server. That's why these boxes are here. Otherwise, everything else belongs natively to HANA. So these are the different engines we are talking about. So there's a SQL engine, there's a calculation engine, and within these engines there are 3 other engines. So this is an MDX engine which solves all the MDX queries, multi-dimension queries. We have a session management, of course. So every request coming into HANA is managed by these guys. So timestamp, authorization, how much time taken, cookies, everything is managed by session management. Transaction manager is the next. It kind of manages all the queries, tells you where to go. Authorization manager takes care of the security issues. Metadata is storing all your metadata. And none of the things, none of the views in HANA are materialized. That's something you might want to remember, which is fundamentally different from any BobJ tool. So these views, even these views are not materialized. They are just views, and they are on the fly, aggregating or running those queries on the fly. They are not materialized. So these are the engines: row store, column store. Of course, this is the persistence layer, which is going to take care of all your data for permanent store. Page management logger ultimately stored on the disk, SSD, and this is what I was talking about. So you can copy this and keep it in multiple locations to save yourself. It's as a part of your disaster recovery strategy. And okay, we have seen the components of
so this,
code.
this disk storage is still in like this part here, the disk storage part, that is still in memory. That's
No,
in RAM, or it's in,
it's not in RAM. It's in SSD.
I'm sorry,
Solid state drive. It is in solid state drive.
Okay. Okay.
It's a slightly slower technology, not slightly slower technology, and this is the primary reason here is for storing data permanently. So we are not going to do analysis, anything to do with analysis from this area, unless you're trying to. So you're unloading and loading tables. There's some concept of hot and cold tables within HANA. So unless that scenario is you're using that scenario, this storage won't be of any use, or it won't play an active role in your analysis.
Okay. So what role will the persistence layer do? Like, is it like a connection between the database and the disk storage?
So this persistence, yes. So this persistence layer is going to manage your pages. So whatever changes happen in the database is not going to directly be written into storage, right? There should be somebody in between who's managing the save points. So there's a backup recovery strategy, right? So you can you can program the save points for every 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes. So it's going to be saving data every 5 minutes to permanent storage. So all those things are taken care of persistence layer.
Okay.
So there are some differences between page management and logger. So logger is basically taking care of all the logs which are not stored. For example, things which you do which you don't save are stored in log. Other things also, anything you store, like you say save, it's going to directly be sent to data. We'll see all those things when we talk about backup and recovery.
Okay.
All right. So now IMC Studio is a part of HANA. This runs on SUSE Linux version 11 SP1 only. This particular HANA, so you need to run on SUSE Linux. But this guy is a Studio. You can install on any Windows based or Linux based, any operating system. So this has two perspectives. One is the modeling, one is the administration. So this is where you're going to be modeling, and this is where you're going to be administrating. So this talks directly to HANA, and this is the only way to talk to HANA is by using the Studio. There's no other way to talk to HANA directly. Okay, this is interesting for the BI questions. So this shows end-to-end scenario between ERP and BI. So basically, you're bringing data from the whether ERP or database or BW or third party, bringing all the data in using different tools. There are possible tools. DODS is one of them. We'll see the other two in the next class. So once you bring data inside, you're going to model the data in here, and then you're going to be consuming data in these different certified SAP certified tools. So there is some difference between these tools in terms of connectivity. So if you're using web intelligence dashboards, crystal reports, I heard web intelligence models. Yeah, basically web intelligence from Sandeep. So if you want to use web intelligence, you need to create a universe. So you need to have a semantic layer. So you're going to be working with UDT. So SAP is try to tell you business objects 4.0. So you need the IDT. So you're going to create a universe using IDT, which is a part of business objects 4.0. So if you see here, business objects 4.0, you need IDT, information design tool, which is just another version of UDT, and you need to change the universes that you have from Unix to UNV format, and you need to basically create business layer data foundation to be able to consume in web intelligence, dashboards, and crystal reports. This is enterprise. This is 2011. There are some fundamental differences between these two. We'll see that later. What are these two tools differentiate each other in? So other tools are Explorer, Business Explorer, and AI Office. So these three do not need a semantic layer to talk to HANA. If you have a Business Explorer, all you need to do is enable a property in CMC, and you're going to be able to talk to HANA. And Microsoft Excel, you can also talk to HANA using MDX or ODBO. So those are the database connectivity protocols you're using here, drivers, if you will.
So here the universe is created based on the the models created by HANA. Something?
Yes, yes.
No.
So the models look like tables when you pull SAP HANA into IDT. All the tables look like tables, of course, and the models also look like tables. The only difference is the models are stored under a schema called SYS_DIC, and the rest of the tables, physical tables, are stored under whichever schema you have. So both the models and tables look like tables in your semantic layer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Does it help, or did I confuse you?
No, I was so in real time, do they use the models to create the universe, or do they use the tables directly to create the universe?
Both.
Both. Okay.
So best practice is that don't mix around tables and models, and they also go to the extent of saying that don't play with two different views. There are three different kind of views possible within HANA because of some performance issues. So, but it's possible.
Oh, it's possible. Okay.
Okay, great. So I just want to quickly tell you about the different connectivity options. So ODBC JDBC is universal driver. You can use ODBC JDBC. You can also use ODBC JDBC with other tools which are not SAP certified. The only thing is they don't guarantee the performance. Bix is something native to SAP, and MDX is MDX. Also over OLEDB, and you can use MDX, and that's only tool which give. Sorry?
So at present only SAP certified tools are being used, right, on HANA?
Yep, that's correct. So see, that is what is advised by SAP, right? So that is when they'll support it, and for example, if there's a new version, they'll make sure that it works with Microsoft Excel or Explorer. So for example, let's say and some of the tool which is not certified by SAP you're using, you can probably get away with it, and but the next release you might have some issues because they're not supporting that tool. That's the difference.
Okay.
Alright, these are some configurations. This is probably the last slide I want to see for today. Some configurations here, very important. So when any company is buying HANA, they have three options. One is they can go with platform edition, that's right. Platform edition, enterprise edition, or extended edition. One of the differences is platform does not give you any of the ETL tools like BODS, and enterprise gives you BODS and it gives you SLT, SAP landscape transformation, or SLT server, which is another tool to bring data. If you buy extended, it gives you all the three options, which is Sybase application server, second is BODS, and this one being SLT. So based on your
what does the Sybase application server do? Like, what is its functionality?
Functionality is to bring data from data sources into HANA.
Right. I think you said business or the data services does it very good, right?
Yeah. Okay. Since you're asking me, I quickly answer you. BODS is not suitable or not. It is not suggested for real time. So data is at least old by say 10 minutes. If you want real time data from your data sources, you have to use either a Sybase application server or SLT for real time data. That's the only difference. And of course, if you want some heavy transformations in your ETL process, when you're bringing data from your source to target, then these two don't have the capability for heavyweight transformations. They only have capability for lightweight. But BODS is very flexible in terms of talking to different databases and being able to transform financial data, and you can apply all kinds of logic here. But it does not provide real-time data, near real-time, no real-time. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, good question. Okay, so some product availability matrix for you and some price point. I'm going to leave it there. So these are the current hardware vendors, and I've picked up some configurations for you. So let's take IBM here, right here. So if you see, these are the memory sizes available: 128, 256, 512. These are all main memory, and this is data volumes, and this is log volumes. You need to buy all of these, and this is the file system, GPFS, and this is the operating system. So these are the configurations available today. And if you notice the processor, Intel 7560. This is the only approved processor which you can use. So no matter which hardware vendor it is, they're all going to be using 7560. Intel's 7560 set.
And actually, how many cores like core processor it has? Is it dual core, or how many core processors it has? That Intel.
Good question. This let me see. So right here it says 2 cores.
Okay.
So it's 2 cores. So there are multiple cores. So this is 2 and this is 4. This is 8.
So the maximum RAM is like restricted to 512 GB. Is that the maximum RAM?
It's going till 8 terabyte in labs. Currently IBM is selling 1 to 8 terabytes.
1 terabyte.
1 terabyte to 8 terabytes is available.
Okay.
Nobody has 8 terabytes in production. And IBM, what they're doing is, so for example, let's say today you're starting with 512 or 256. It gives you the capability to, without any interruption to your environment, to add multiple more nodes into your environment and scale your environment. So that is one of the features of IBM. If you buy IBM, it takes advantage of the file system, GPFS. So it takes advantage of that, and you can scale your system as much as you want, up to 8 terabytes.
Okay.
All right. So this is some price point. I think this is a 1 terabyte appliance. Let's see, 3950. Yeah, this is the 1 terabyte, and because if you see here, it's all 3690. This is 3850 and then 3950. So this is a 1 terabyte appliance. It costs you just a little shy of $200,000. This is the hardware cost, and then you need to buy SAP license.
Right. What kind of hardware does the vendor provide? Just the RAM, and what else? What else does the vendor provide?
They provide the hardware. They provide the software installation. So they'll basically test the hardware in their own site. They'll bring the tested hardware into your site. They'll install the application. They'll configure your systems based on whatever configuration you have. They'll analyze the landscape. There are different services. They come up all the way till, if for example, if you want to set up the whole disaster recovery scenarios, and if you want to set up multiple nodes, if you want a distributed system, they do that as well. So depending on the different packages they sell, the service packages, you can take advantage of those packages. But as a minimum, from what I've seen, they install the product, they install the software, and they install the first couple of instances, whatever you want, the administrative instance, and they give it to you up and running.
Okay. What does the basic hardware include? Just the RAM?
No, you just saw it, right? So it includes the processor.
Oh, okay.
It includes the RAM. It's a whole system. It's a whole server.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right.
So it also has a persistence layer as well, data and log.
Okay.
Alright, great. Alright, that's about it. Yeah.
The whole motherboard, right?
Yes, the whole motherboard. Yeah, that's correct. So it's a standalone box.
Okay.
Alright guys, any questions? I can probably take 2-3 questions.
Actually, can you talk briefly about this course content? Like, how long is the course, and what is the duration of each session, and when it usually be? Course outline.
Okay, course outline. Right. Course outline. Let me see if I have it. I have it somewhere. Just need to pull up. Okay. So, okay, I don't have the course outline. I thought that they provided you. Obviously, I mean I provided them the course outline. But what we're going to see is we're going to see all the functionalities of HANA, modeler perspective, and some functionalities of administrator perspective, whatever you need to know. And we're going to be talking about end-to-end from data services. What is what are the different strategies, how to bring data from these different sources into HANA, and model. We're going to be doing all the modeling in HANA, all the different views. We're going to be creating attribute views, analytical views, calculation views. We're going to be slightly going to be experimenting with SQL script. And we're going to try to create roles and see the security part of it. There's something for analytical privileges. We'll do that. And once the HANA part is over, then we're going to try to consume this. Not try. We're going to consume this in the BI layer. So we can choose a couple of tools like MS Excel or Business Explorer, Visual Intelligence, whatever is available in the environment. We will pick up a couple of tools, and we will see IDT, how to make connections, how to create a simple universe, and then how to consume this in the end tool, which could be any of the BI tool. And apart from that, we will talk about distributed systems and disaster recovery, database security, and optimization techniques, best practices. Obviously, we are also going to be talking about certification questions and guidelines, what to do. In terms of certification, where to start, what to prepare. That's about it, I guess. It's a lot actually.
Will you or New York State would be providing any material, like any book to read, any reference materials?
Yeah. I will provide you a lot of material. Yeah, I'll be providing you material.
Yeah, any PDFs or PowerPoints?
Yeah, definitely. I cannot provide you my own PowerPoints because of some license issues because I'm adapting with SAP and I'm not allowed to share it, like give it out like that. So, but otherwise, I will point you to all the documents where I'm using, which is available for public. So, not to worry. I'll give you PDFs, PowerPoints, a lot of material. Like, yeah, I don't even know how many documents I have. A lot of documents. Every day there's something new coming up. And at the right time, I will provide you the right documents. But at the end of the class, you'll have all the things you need.
Okay.
Alright guys, I'll take maybe one more question and then because I have another class, so I have to jump into that. So any other questions if you have, kindly ask me. The duration is going to be of 1 hour every day. Why? Because
what time?
Is this time comfortable for you?
Yeah, 6:30 is good for me.
How about
I mean, a little late would work better. I don't know if that's bothersome.
Okay, so we'll work out the timing issues. Yeah, Sandeep, what is it?
No, I did not understand what Vatsala was saying. He said 6:30 is a little bit late, or like 6:30 is too early for him.
Yeah, I was saying like 6:30 will be a little bit early because sometimes I may come a little late from work, and actually 8:30 EST would be better for me. I was asking if it's okay with you.
8:30?
Yeah, 8:30 EST. Too late?
Yeah, 8:30.
8:30 is. Let me see my scheduling. So we will. I know now the options, right? So 8:30 and 6:30, right? So I will talk to the scheduling team and see what's best for both of us, and we will schedule accordingly, um, and then we'll take it from there, I guess. Any other questions?
No, that's it.
All right, great. Great. I think we discussed important parts of HANA. Thanks for joining. Appreciate your time, and I look forward to working with you in the next sessions. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Get my email from NYS guys, and we should be scheduling something tomorrow.
They said they'll not give your email address, Vinay. So
Okay, that's for obvious reasons.
No, I mean they did tell me that they're not going to provide your email address and your phone number. So I don't know how to contact you.
Yeah, actually, I even asked for your phone number. They said they're gonna give, but they never replied back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they're just trying to protect their interests. So don't worry about that. Once we start the classes, once you guys are registered, I mean there should be no reason why you should not directly contact me.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. That's all the time
Okay,
I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Yeah. You too. Bye.
Bye bye.